That's right. So there are some Michigan governor candidates right now who are talking about getting rid of property taxes.
Coming to you from the Taft Podcast Studio in the heart of JXN GOP headquarters. This is Stars, Stripes, and Straight Talk with Chris and Dave.
Hey, what is going on? Thanks for stopping back by the channel. This is Stars, Stripes,
and Straight Talk.
I'm Chris.
I'm Dave.
And today we are going to be talking about
governors and tax policy.
That's right. So there are some Michigan governor candidates right now who are talking about getting rid of property taxes.
And even income tax.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like, how that could affect you, and how that could affect, say, I don't know, townships and school districts.
Well, in pure transparency, you know, I got to let everybody know, I was on the axmitax team for quite some time.
Okay.
Right. Didn't necessarily agree with the way they were doing things and the direction they were headed.
Right.
So and I have limited time,
Right.
So I kind of bowed out, gracefully. I'm not mad or, hateful to anybody.
Sure.
But the topic is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And it's getting national notoriety now because we got DeSantis down in Florida talking about it.
Yep.
Tennessee's talking about it. Trump's talked about it.
But, there's people on both sides of this fence, too, and they're both just as excited about it and just as upset by it. You have the group of people that are like, you can't take property tax away. What are we going to do to backfill? They can't get outside of this box.
Right.
Right? And then you have other people that are like, yes, get rid of my property taxes because I don't want to be beholden to the state the rest of my life.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's the government. The government owns your property.
Right.
And the original Constitution, it was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Exactly.
Was life, liberty, and property.
Exactly.
Because that was one of the initial founding principles.
Exactly.
Is the fact that you could own property.
Yes.
You could own your things. It's not the government. Well, guess what?
Historically, the government gave property to people.
Yeah.
They gave them the property.
And now we buy it, and they still own it.
Now we rent the property.
Right.
So I have a house that's affixed into the ground.
Yep.
And it's paid for. I don't owe the bank a penny.
Yep.
But I owe the state the rest of my life for the property that my house sits on. That's garbage.
Okay. So we're going to get into the property tax thing here and some of the different proposals from different candidates.
Right.
First of all, let's understand the tax bill.
Sure.
If you do not, and I repeat, if you do not look at your tax bill, start doing it.
Right.
My wife one day, when we flipped the script and stopped in escrow and started paying it, she looked at the tax bill, Chris. She goes, "Oh, I guess all those free summers at the library weren't exactly free." Because if it's escrowed in your tax or escrowed in your payment, and you don't look at the bill because it's getting paid through escrow,
right.
You don't know where that money's going.
Right.
So in the time that I spent with axmitax, I got really good at reading tax bills and what was here and what was there. And I heard a lot of feedback from a lot of people.
Sure.
So I'm actually very excited to talk about this topic. And I know we've covered a little bit, right? First of all, we have multiple different candidates that are running on the tax plan.
Two specifically in Michigan.
Two specifically in Michigan. Now, before we get too deep into the nuts and bolts of any particular program, let's talk about the philosophy. We both agree property tax is wrong. I just had we had a tax question, and we called my CPA buddy.
Before we get to that tax question, I want to just point this out. Yeah, we believe property tax is wrong.
Yep.
Because we don't want to own property or own our home, but not the property it sits on. And we don't want to pay rent to the state.
Absolutely.
But what about the person that's on fixed income?
Yep.
What about that person? They only get X amount of money a month, right?
Right.
They're balancing their budget. They're barely scraping by. And every time a school millage passes, their property tax goes up.
We talk about it. Every year they reassess their property, the property tax goes up.
So eventually, property tax is going to make them homeless.
Yes.
That's not cool.
No, it's not cool. And when you think about it, I don't think the mob itself could come up with a better program, Chris.
No.
So here's what you got to think this through from A to Z.
You can't move your house.
Well, hold on a second. You hear me out here. So I'm with the township. Let's just say, Spring Arbor Township. That's where I live. So I pay my property taxes to Spring Arbor Township. Spring Arbor Township says, hey, the value of your property is what's going to determine the amount of your taxes.
Right.
So the guy who benefits from my property taxes does what?
Oh, he
determines the value of my house.
Inflates the property value.
The mob could not set a process any better.
And
if I refuse to pay it, what do?
They take your house.
They take my house. Yeah. Right? So you have the people who are benefiting from the tax are the one who's evaluating your property to tell you how much it's worth, because that's where your taxes come from.
So what do you say to someone who says, Dave, you want to get rid of property tax? I don't care what your reason. I don't care what your thoughts. You're a lunatic. What's your response?
Oh, you're a lunatic for wanting to pay them.
Right.
Right? But there's two different ends of the spectrum, right? You have the services that are provided by the city, and you have how they're getting paid.
Sure.
Now,
but you have that group that thinks it's all about our able to vote. We have to be able to have the power to tell the county where to put that money.
Well, the problem is that when you talk about millages, right, and people don't realize that historically, the only people that could vote on millages were who?
People that lived in those districts. Like the school district or whatever.
No? Property owners.
Oh, that's right. Not anymore.
So what happened now is once you got rid of the ability for the property owner to make a decision on his property taxes and you open it up to everybody, now you have somebody voting for a tax for somebody else.
Right. Well, if I rent an apartment in, say, Vandercook Lake School District.
Yep.
Let's say I rent an apartment. They have a bond proposal coming up this November, actually.
Yep.
Which they just had last November, then March, now this November. But I live in an apartment right there on McDivitt.
Yep.
And I say, let's give a school that isn't teaching anything money so they can build a football stadium.
Yep.
What do I care? Because I'm not footing the bill.
Well, and that's where everyone's wrong.
The homeowner foots the bill, not the renter.
Well, here's the thing. So if you're not familiar with property tax structure, you have what they call homestead and non-homestead. Right. Okay. So what happens is when you got those rental properties and you think you're not paying those taxes, you're paying them with a increase.
Yeah, you're paying them with the increase in, say, your rent.
40% higher. So what happens is that if I own a house and I'm living in that house, they assess it and I pay my property taxes on that house. Okay. Now, if I own a second house and I rent that house to you, Chris, guess what? I pay my property taxes, but I don't get a homestead exemption because I'm not living in it. So my property taxes are 40% higher.
But what I'm saying
you as a renter are paying, not only paying property taxes, because I'm going to build that into my rent, you're paying property taxes plus 40%.
Because you're building it into the rent.
Because I'm building it into the rent. So when they come out with these proposals and they say, listen, you don't worry about this, you're a renter, just approve it. No, it's going to go on to the rent.
Right.
The rent's going to go up. You're going to pay it, and there's a 40% increase.
Right.
Now, alternatively, City of Rockford one time, and one of the candidates running as Karla, sent a postcard out with our tax dollars, not ours, but, Rockford. From Rockford County, or in Kent County. They sent it out to the residents saying, hey, we have a millage come up, but it's a non-homestead millage. So this only affects non-renters and businesses.
They failed, didn't it?
No, it passed.
Oh, it passed.
But you're now taxation without representation, because me as a business that's paying property tax, I can't vote.
Right.
I can vote on my home, but I can't vote as a business. I don't get a separate vote.
True.
So now inherently it's just wrong all the way around the board, right? So if you disagree that property taxes are wrong, please comment down below.
Yes.
And please inform me how the government, who had nothing to do with your property, has the right to take your money.
Right.
And how people that have no ability that are not paying property tax have the right to vote for you to pay more.
Okay. So you just brought up one of the candidates.
Yes.
Karla Wagner.
Yep.
She is the axmitax governor candidate.
Yes.
So you said earlier you were a part of axmitax. So why don't you go ahead and try to explain her policy of the getting rid of property tax?
So the philosophy behind the axmitax and I don't know what she's doing as far as the governor side, but I do know a lot about the axmitax side, right? And I looked at the proposal up and down, back and forth. There was actually a gentleman, Frank, that worked with her for a while that ran the numbers on every single city and every single county. And the numbers actually look pretty good.
Okay, so how does her policy work?
So what it is on the axmitax, they're going to take a revenue share out of the general fund, income tax, marijuana, and then they're gonna split that up. They're going to give some to the counties and some to the townships.
Okay.
In a majority of the cases, they're better off than they are with the property tax.
Okay, you said general fund.
Yep.
Okay, well, isn't that only going to be good for like a year? They're not constantly putting money into the general fund if we're now taking it out. So how long is that going to count?
There's you got sales tax. There's a lot of different buckets, and there's a chart. You can actually go on the Michigan Finance Department, and you can download that chart.
Because I'm just curious. That's the question people are going to have. If I'm taking it from this general fund, how's that getting restocked if I'm taking
sales
from
tax?
it?
It's come from sales tax and income tax.
And you mentioned marijuana sales,
right?
Which is a whole nother can of worms we probably don't want to get into. Marijuana is taxed at 10%.
Higher.
As of when? Because all my research says 10.
Oh no, the transactions tax at 10. But then if you look at the taxes that the suppliers are paying,
like a wholesale tax.
And by the way, marijuana business don't get any write-offs.
Okay.
So yeah, they're
because these are just
good
things
stuff.
People are looking at.
But the thing is that was going to a certain kitty. It was just going to go to schools.
Yes.
So now, but you take all that money and you pull it together, and then you share it, right? So it's very similar to what Anthony Hudson was talking about, where let's take that money.
To him in a minute. Let's finish Karla's
So
proposal.
it's they have like a 10 and a 20%. I can't remember the particulars on it. I don't want to talk for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's going to take money out of what's already coming in, and then distribute it to the townships and distribute it to the counties.
Okay.
Now the big elephant in the room that nobody ever wants to talk about, and I've actually I cornered one of our county commissioners the other day, and I asked him this question, and he didn't smile at me afterwards. Was
which one? Oh, don't tell me.
No, but it was, hey, what departments are cutting their budgets? Who says I don't need this money? Who says, listen, we don't need a new car this year?
Nobody,
right? So the thing is that there's so much waste and fraud at the government level. Now we just found out that our governor supplied. It was due to a big number.
You talking about the 4,700 fictitious jobs for the tune of $5 billion?
$5 billion, yeah. So we as a state have been supporting $5 billion's worth of jobs that don't exist.
Right.
Someone's getting paid.
Sure.
Right? And that money went somewhere. It ain't still in the budget. It's gone. Right?
It's going to probably be used for Whitmer's presidential run. Or
absolutely right. Yeah. So it's getting filtered to companies, that gets filtered back. So, first of all, you take away the ability for them to just steal.
Right.
I mean, it's just theft is all it is, right?
Sure.
And then you start prosecuting people that are stealing.
And that's the reason that so many people are pushing back. No, don't take the property taxes. It's
everything's going to shut down. What about the schools?
Yeah,
well, first of all, the schools suck.
Right.
Our schools absolutely suck. We are number 2.
Villages.
Number 2 in spending,
right?
From anywhere from preschool all the way up to second level. We're number 2 in the nation, but we're like 43rd in the list of effectiveness.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe getting rid of property taxes gets rid of millages, right?
Yep.
So what do? Well, we know millages are only used to take care of facilities. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, well, you have your 6 mills that are built into your property tax, which is for the actual education.
That will go away.
That goes away, right? But here's the question I always had for Karla.
The Department of Education will have to pick up that extra. They've got the money.
Right.
So we're talking millages now. And you have the school saying, but what do? We got to have a new football stadium. We got to have How about this? You want me to give you money? Educate.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to want to give you more money.
Well, the one thing that Karla's plan lacked was a vehicle. What I mean by that, and it's something I always had a question on, and I never really got a good answer on it, and that was one of the things that always bothered me. So you have so Spring Arbor just passed a millage. We're building 3 new elementary schools.
Sure.
They just broke ground. They want to get in by December.
You got that many students?
No, they just want a new
3
building.
Elementary schools?
One new elementary, they're closing 3 old ones and put one, so the traffic on Deering Road could be even 4 times greater than it is now, right?
Gotcha.
Actually, I know a guy who's selling his house because of it. He's like, yeah, he goes, it's already bad enough it is, and they're going to put one massive school here. So they're going to be moving into that come in December. Well, that's got to be paid for.
Right.
So we get rid of property taxes. The 6 mills is covered under her program.
Yes.
Well, what about the outstanding bonds for these construction projects?
That's a great question.
Where do they go?
Who picks it up? Who has
Right.
to pay it? The school's still on the hook for it.
School's still on the hook for it, right? So you can't attach it to the property tax. So nowhere in her amendment is there a vehicle for the townships, because the thing is you got the cities can levy taxes, right? Jackson,
Not all cities. So.
not all cities, but Jackson, I think Warren,
Sure, there's a
Detroit,
handful.
Grand Rapids. There's a handful, Saginaw.
Yeah.
But most of them can't.
Exactly.
So Spring Arbor Township can't say, okay,
Right.
now we're going to have a tax on everybody to pay for these open bonds.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Are there cuts everywhere to be made? Yes.
Oh, sure,
Do
absolutely.
you still want local control? Absolutely, we want to have local control.
So-
but you got to give them a vehicle.
So basically,
the-
then what
the-
I'm
the
getting,
tax.
what I'm getting from axmitax is, we want to end the taxes
Yep.
and force the government to cut wasteful spending to make this work. That's what I'm gathering.
but even with the money that was there in the current budget, if they reallocated funds, there was enough money to make pretty much everybody whole.
So-
but again, it makes them whole from an essential services side.
Sure.
But that doesn't include libraries and everything else.
Right.
Now, again, when you look at the waste and fraud, millions and trillions of dollars are just
Right.
wasted every day.
Right.
So when billions when it comes to the state,
Sure.
right? I might be getting close to trillions. They're getting up there fast. So, there's ways to do that, and you have to have a plan to
Right.
suffice people. So her answer always was, "I don't care." Like, well,
there's too many questions.
there's too
for
many
that.
questions to not care, right? How are we going to fund the local libraries? Great.
Right.
You buy a library card.
Sure.
Well, there's not enough people to support it. Okay, then you're going to close down some branches.
Right.
Or what you're going to do, you're going to open up the libraries and the schools, give them a separate entrance.
Right.
Then you don't have to have a separate library.
Sure.
So there's so many common sense answers to answer these problems,
But
but
then-
you got to have a program for that.
Right,
If
right.
you're going to sell this to me,
It's got to be baked into your
right?
response, right?
Yeah, it's got to be baked in your
So-
response. I don't care is not a
So
response.
that leads into the next candidate, Anthony Hudson.
yeah,
Now, this guy, he's taking it even farther.
yeah,
Anthony's platform is to get rid of state income tax and property tax entirely.
yep.
But he's actually come up with this idea. Now, before we get too deep into it, we haven't seen the numbers. We don't know if this would actually be feasible, but this is the platform. A 3% income tax at the county level.
Yep.
Okay. That means that, what? All of your local stuff is still paid for. That would cover millages, I would suspect.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his website now.
Okay.
And I'm going to go right to the source. We're going to eliminate property taxes. We're going to eliminate state income
Right.
tax.
Right?
We're going to go to a part-time legislature with part-time pay. Oh, everyone wants
Well,
that.
there you go.
Yep. I know Jim DeSantis has really been a proponent of that.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to lower auto insurance. We're
Again.
going to get rid of no fault.
Okay.
So that would be good. Oh, trust me, my sister just moved back from New Hampshire. She's like, "Oh, that New Hampshire plate is staying on there as long as possible."
Right.
She pays more in 1 month in Michigan than she does
I
an
bet.
entire year in New Hampshire,
bet.
right? Then he's got some other stuff in here, eliminate solar, but return local control. Yeah. So a big part of his program is to add a county tax.
Yes. A 3% income tax-ish
Yes.
concept.
Yeah. Which, in the limit and he was here actually. He spoke to our group the other day, and he's like, "Listen, MDOT. He's going to get rid of MDOT as part of his program.
Yeah, because he wants to keep it at county road commissions.
Keep it as at the county road, right?
Yeah.
So
by just doing MDOT alone, what's the budget that he would save?
MDOT was that by eliminating MDOT, that puts $97 million into each county's road commission.
$97
million. Yeah.
Without taking any
That's
money.
not all that's doing is just reallocating MDOT locally.
And that's crazy. I mean, I don't mind that.
Well, and that's the thing is if you're gonna have a program like this, you got to have particulars. That's my thing, right?
Absolutely.
Now is there a Karla Wagner moment where I don't care comes up? Absolutely.
Well,
you know what?
Everybody gets that point when you see your tax bill and you're like, I don't care anymore.
But what I'm saying is that there's going to be something that's got to get cut, and it's just going to have to get cut, right?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, there's so much redundancy. For example, in South Carolina, one school district.
Yeah.
It's the state. And then you have a local county board. That's it.
Yep.
Now, if you look at our school systems alone, when I went to school, and we've talked about this with Nate, we had 1, 2, maybe 3 principals for 4,000 students.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have 42,000 administrators, right. 1 for every 4 kids.
Exactly.
So there's so much waste in that. So could you restructure that and save enough money?
It sounds like Karla's approach is just eliminate it and force the government, force Lansing in this regard.
She wants to reallocate all the funds that are already there.
Right, but then she wants them to start just lopping off chunks of whatever, find all the fraud and abuse, which I don't disagree with.
No, it's all good, yeah.
But on the other side, Anthony seems more feasible to me
because it has a vehicle to collect money at the local level
and keep it at the local level.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. We're going to collect it and not send it up. Now, obviously, I would like to see a spreadsheet.
Sure. Yeah.
Or like a database or something where you could punch in the numbers.
Absolutely.
I'm a numbers guy.
Right.
I like numbers, and it'd be good to see where that revenue would sit.
Sure.
Which counties would be? Now he's got some examples on his website. What counties would be good? What counties wouldn't? But at the end of the day, if you're going to pull any of this off, you're going to need the help of the legislature.
Absolutely.
Because they're the ones that are going to have to start cutting the budget, and they're the ones that are going to have to get into the nitty gritty of how it's going to work.
Right.
But is one better than the other?
I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if
Anthony Hudson, give us a thumbs up. Or wait, do we want to do thumbs up? Let's do something different.
Well, just do
in the comments. Type in Hudson
or Wagner. Yep.
Let us know which of these.
But look them up, you guys. This is huge, right?
It is.
And I know Anthony Hudson and Karla Wagner are not your 2 top front runners. But you know what? I mean, I know them both. Now I met Anthony the other day, and I've obviously known Karla for a couple of years.
Yep.
Both of them do every day. They get up and go to work.
Exactly.
And, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yep.
Because, someone who says Anthony Hudson doesn't have the experience in politics, I'm like, to me, that's a resume enhancer.
I remember. I remember.
There was this one guy, remember?
One time that came down this gold escalator.
Yep.
That everyone said, he's not a politician. But he knew how to get the job done.
And it's working out pretty good for us right now, isn't it?
It's winning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check them out. And if you here we go. I got an idea. Go ahead. Let us know, Hudson or Wagner, in the comments. Go and do some research. And then guess what? Go to the website that I'm putting on the screen right now. jxngop.org.
Yep.
Because you're going to go there and you're going to see Lincoln Day, Jackson County. Buy your ticket because
oh yeah, that's right.
Karla Wagner, Anthony Hudson, as well as Tom Leonard and Eric Nesbitt, all 4 governor candidates for the state of Michigan, and candidates for Secretary of State and Attorney General, will all be in attendance at this dinner, followed by a huge Trump after party.
Yes.
Tickets are on sale now.
If you didn't make the Trump event, Chris, a lot of people that look at the videos on the GXN GOP website or the YouTube.
They throw a good party.
They throw a good party.
But yeah, get your tickets. And before you say it, yes, we know it's the Michigan State game. Unfortunately, when you try to get all these candidates involved at the same time, you got to work with their schedule. But I have it on good authority to let you know there will be 4 TVs with the Michigan State game on it.
Yep.
And as of the time of the filming of this video, they haven't even determined start time.
Right.
So it may be a late game, and we'll already be in the Trump after party, and it'll be just like watching it at the bar with your friends.
Yep.
So check it out. Get your tickets now because the seats are going fast. But until next time, I'm Chris.
I'm Dave.
See you next time.
And God bless America.